Tonight, 3 archived stories.
The call came in at 2:17 a.m. No dispatcher was supposed to be on duty that night. The county emergency center in northern Colorado ran on an automated system after midnight, recording messages, logging coordinates, forwarding them to the morning shift. But this call didn't record. It connected. A landline crackled to life on an unused console, its indicator light glowing red as if someone had lifted the receiver on the other end. The number didn't display, only a location, a single GPS coordinate deep in the Rockies, far past marked trails, in a stretch of forest officially listed as uninhabited. The dispatcher who heard the call would later swear she never touched the console. She was making coffee when the ringing started. And then a voice came through. Not screaming, not crying, just breathing. Slow, close, as if the mouth was right against the receiver. After 8 seconds, the voice spoke. "Please, don't hang up." The dispatcher froze. She asked for a name. The line clicked, popped, then answered. "We've been waiting." The coordinates matched an old ranger report from the early 2000s, a cabin, built sometime in the 1970s, off-grid, no road access, no electricity. One landline installed through a now-defunct private line that should have been disconnected decades ago. The owners, Thomas and Evelyn Marr, had vanished 20 years earlier. No bodies, no signs of struggle, no explanation. Search teams at the time found the cabin locked from the inside, food on the table, a fire long burned out in the hearth, the phone hanging neatly on the wall. No one ever answered calls made to the cabin. After 6 months, the case went cold. The landline was officially declared dead. Yet here it was, calling out. By dawn, a rescue team was dispatched. 2 search and rescue officers, 1 forest ranger, 1 technician to document the site. No one joked on the hike in. The forest felt wrong, too quiet, no wind, no birds. Even their radios hissed with static in rhythmic bursts like breathing. The GPS led them to a narrow clearing. The cabin stood exactly where the report said it would be, intact, unrotted, as if time had avoided it. The door was closed, no tracks in the dirt, no sign of recent use, except for one thing, the sound, a faint ringing coming from inside. The ranger knocked. The ringing stopped. Silence followed, thick, heavy, expectant. Then the phone rang again, longer this time. They forced the door. Inside, the air was stale but not decayed. Furniture sat neatly arranged. Dust lay thick on every surface except one, the wall-mounted phone. Its surface was clean. The receiver trembled slightly as it rang. No wires connected it to the wall. The technician filmed everything. One of the officers reached for the phone. Before his hand touched it, the ringing stopped. The receiver lifted itself just enough to leave the cradle, and a voice spoke. "We came back too early." The officer dropped the camera. The voice didn't sound old. It didn't sound distorted. It sounded current, like someone standing just behind them. The ranger demanded to know who was speaking. The voice paused, then replied calmly, "We're still inside." The call disconnected. The phone went dead. No dial tone, no ring. Just a quiet click as the receiver settled back into place. They searched the cabin thoroughly. No basement, no crawl space, no hidden rooms. Nothing under the floorboards, nothing in the walls. But the technician noticed something strange in the footage later. During the recording, the phone's cord, though disconnected, shifted slightly every time the voice spoke, as if reacting, as if listening. That night, the team camped outside the cabin to wait for backup. At 3:12 a.m., the ringing started again. This time not from the cabin, from the radios. Every unit rang simultaneously. No incoming frequency, no caller ID, just ringing. Then the voice, clearer now. "We can hear you breathing." The ranger shut his radio off. The voice continued, from the others, then from the trees. One officer broke. He ran toward the cabin. The door was open. The phone was ringing. He lifted the receiver. The last thing captured on his body cam was his face changing, not in fear, but recognition, like someone seeing a familiar room. Then he smiled. The feed cut out. At sunrise, the cabin was empty again. No officer, no phone sounds, no open door. Inside, the furniture was unchanged, except for a new item on the table, a modern smartphone. Its screen lit up when the technician touched it. One missed call from an unknown number. Timestamp 2:17 a.m. Caller ID name, cabin. The official report says the officer was lost to the wilderness. Hypothermia, disorientation, terrain hazards. The footage was classified. The landline was finally removed. The cabin was burned down 3 months later, or so the records claim. But hikers still report something strange. Deep in the Rockies, where no signal should reach, phones occasionally ring. No number, no connection bars, just a vibration. And when answered, a familiar voice speaks, not asking for help, just saying, "We found us faster this time." Then the line goes dead, and somewhere, in a place that shouldn't exist anymore, a phone is still hanging on a wall, clean, waiting, listening.
The rain began on April 3rd. Forecasts predicted scattered showers. Instead, precipitation continued without interruption, hour after hour, day after day. By the third day, rivers swelled beyond their banks. Storm drains overflowed. Roads disappeared beneath shallow currents. The rainfall measured average intensity. No thunder, no lightning, no visible storm system above satellite range. Cloud cover remained uniform and low. Meteorological agencies classified it as a stationary front. On the fifth day, residents reported a secondary phenomenon. The sound of rain changed. Not louder, not heavier, structured. Several individuals described it as rhythmic variation resembling syllables. Most dismissed it as pattern recognition under stress. By day 7, the reports became consistent. People claimed the rain was speaking, specifically calling names. The first documented disappearance occurred on April 9th. A 34-year-old male exited his residence at approximately 2:18 a.m. Doorbell footage shows him standing on his porch in heavy rainfall. He appears to be listening. After several seconds, he responds verbally. The audio cannot clearly capture his reply. He steps off the porch and walks into the street. He does not return. Search teams located no body, no footprints beyond the curb. The water depth in the area measured less than 3 inches. On day 8, emergency services received 11 calls reporting identical experiences. Each caller stated they heard their own name spoken through the rainfall. The voices were described as accurate in tone and familiarity. Some claimed the voice sounded like a parent. Others described it as their own voice, slightly distorted. Authorities advised residents to remain indoors. Public broadcasts instructed citizens not to respond to auditory hallucinations caused by environmental stress. On day 9, the rain temperature increased. Meteorological sensors recorded precipitation at 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Ambient air temperature measured 51 degrees Fahrenheit. The rain felt warm to the touch. Residents reported standing near open windows and feeling heat radiate upward from puddles. Steam began forming along sidewalks at night. Despite the temperature increase, evaporation did not occur. Water levels continued rising. On day 10, audio specialists analyzed recordings from security systems across Briar Hollow. When isolated and amplified, rainfall patterns revealed irregular frequency modulation. Certain segments displayed waveform clustering consistent with speech cadence. The words were indistinct. However, repeated phonetic structures matched common first names in the region. At 2:14 a.m. on day 11, all city emergency lines activated simultaneously. No callers were present. Instead, dispatchers heard rainfall through every channel. Then, overlapping voices, whispering, multiple names, some belonging to residents already reported missing. One dispatcher recognized her own name. She removed her headset immediately. Her partner did not. Security footage shows her standing slowly from her desk. She walks toward the exit. Her posture remains upright, her expression neutral. She exits into the rain.
The exterior camera captures her stepping into the flooded parking lot. She tilts her head upward. Her mouth moves. No audio is recorded from that distance. She continues walking into the darkness beyond the streetlights. She does not return. By day 12, Briar Hollow's population had decreased by 27 individuals. All disappearances occurred between 2 and 3 a.m. All victims were last seen walking voluntarily into rainfall. No signs of struggle, no resistance. The rain intensified. Water levels reached second-story windows in lower districts. Rescue operations were halted. At 3:03 a.m. on April 15th, the rainfall stopped abruptly. No tapering, no gradual reduction. Cloud cover cleared within 30 minutes. Sunlight exposed the town beneath standing water. The missing individuals were not found in flood debris. No bodies surfaced in the river. No remains located downstream. In the days following, residents reported a final occurrence. During moments of silence, particularly in bathrooms, kitchens, or near plumbing, they could hear faint dripping, though all pipes were dry. The dripping sometimes formed patterns. Pauses between drops varied. Several individuals reported hearing names again, not from outside, from within walls. Water samples taken after the event showed elevated salinity and trace organic material inconsistent with local soil composition. Analysis concluded contamination from unknown biological sources. The town of Briar Hollow was gradually evacuated over the next 6 months. Most homes remain abandoned. Each spring during the first rainfall, recording devices placed in the empty streets activate at exactly 2:14 a.m. Audio files reveal faint layered whispers beneath the sound of falling water. Voice recognition software identifies multiple speakers. Some match archived recordings of the missing residents. One recurring phrase has been isolated. It is consistent across every file. "We're still raining." The case remains open. Meteorological classification, anomalous. Environmental status, stable. Rainfall probability for Briar Hollow this spring, 82%. End of record.
Spring arrived in Pine Ridge on March 18th. Temperatures rose above freezing for the first time in 4 months. Snowbanks collapsed, rooftops dripped, roads flooded with meltwater. By March 22nd, every snow structure in the town had disappeared. Every one except one. At the corner of Willow Lane and Cedar Drive, in the front yard of an abandoned rental property, a snowman remained standing. It did not sag, it did not shrink, it did not melt. Neighbors reported it casually at first. It's shaded, it's packed tight, kids used salt or something. But by the fifth day, the temperature reached 61 degrees Fahrenheit. The snowman remained, white, solid, upright. Coal eyes, a crooked stick smile, a red scarf no one remembered putting there. Property records confirmed the house had been empty since January. No footprints led to the snowman, no footprints led away. At 2:14 a.m. on March 24th, a doorbell camera across the street recorded the first anomaly, a faint sound, high-pitched, rhythmic, laughter. The laughter did not register to human ears at the time. It was only discovered later during footage review. At exactly 2:14 a.m., the microphone picked up a sound frequency between 2,000 and 4,000 hertz, consistent with a child's laugh, but no child appeared on camera, only the snowman. At 2:15 a.m., the snowman's shadow changed direction. The streetlight behind it remained stationary, the shadow did not. At 2:16 a.m., a second camera, mounted 2 houses down, captured movement, not from the snowman itself, from inside it, a subtle shift, a settling motion, as if weight had adjusted. The next morning, residents noticed something new. The snowman was closer to the sidewalk by approximately 8 inches. No drag marks, no footprints. It had moved without touching the ground. Over the next 3 nights, multiple cameras recorded the same pattern. 2:14 a.m., laughter. 2:15 a.m., shadow distortion. 2:16 a.m., internal movement. Each morning, the snowman stood closer to the road. Children in the neighborhood refused to walk past it. One child, age 6, was interviewed by a school counselor. Transcript excerpt. He laughs when he thinks nobody's watching. On March 28th, the town maintenance department was dispatched to remove the snowman. 2 workers arrived at 9:42 a.m. The temperature was 64 degrees Fahrenheit. The snowman was cold to the touch, below freezing. One worker attempted to break the torso with a shovel. The shovel stopped, not bounced, not slid, stopped, as if it had struck something solid. The second strike cracked the surface. What spilled out was not snow. Brown hair, frozen together, then fabric, then bone. Police were called immediately. The snowman was dismantled piece by piece. Inside were the remains of a child estimated to be between 5 and 7 years old. The body had been folded unnaturally, arms bent backward, legs compressed, spine curved to fit the shape. The skull was positioned where the snowman's head had been. The coal eyes had been placed into the eye sockets. The stick smile had been pushed through the frozen jaw. Cause of death could not be determined. There were no signs of decomposition. The body temperature matched the surrounding snow, as if time had stopped. That night, all cameras on Willow Lane activated simultaneously at 2:14 a.m. The snowman was gone. The yard was empty. But the laughter returned, louder, closer. Audio analysis confirmed the sound source was no longer external. It originated from inside houses, specifically from children's bedrooms. Parents reported toys activating on their own, monitors turning on. One baby monitor captured a final recording. I stayed cold so you could find me. The next morning, investigators reviewed the footage again, frame by frame. At 2:16 a.m., something appeared on camera, standing where the snowman had been. Not snow, not human, a tall, thin shape, its surface smooth and white, its face unfinished, no mouth, no eyes, only two dark indentations where coal had once been. It tilted its head and laughed. The remains were buried. The house was demolished. No further incidents were reported. However, every winter since, residents of Pine Ridge report the same thing. One snowman appears before the first snowfall, already complete, already watching, and it always melts last. File SN 14-221 closed. No further analysis recommended. End of record.